Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is the second part of the oil burner transformer Tesla coil build. I'm going to be putting 900 turns of 0.28 wire on this 70mm form. As you can see, I have the wire here on a old tent pole. That's held together with two square pieces of box section that are aluminium from an Shakespeare octopus fishing chair. They were both knocking about, and they have the holes in to support the tube. I always put the metal end through to stop it from coming out this way, but I also tape the joint together to stop it from pulling out, and then I have it running across the desk so that the whole thing is supported even more still. I've got an old 12-volt drill chuck. You can see how small it is. It's quite a small drill it was. The battery was no good, so I took the gubbins out to make a miniature lathe, so to speak. I've got two skateboard bearings in this side, and that's just glued down with some hot glue. The motor's glued down with hot glue to stop it moving. I never fasten this side down because it just makes it easier for me to take the secondary coil out of the chuck, and I don't have to undo a vise this side. But also, if there's movement and I haven't got this quite centered, the drill will move still if it's not on center, and it can do all of this. But if you fasten it down, the drill spins at different speeds. It doesn't spin at a constant rate of revolutions per minute. If it's fastened down, it like gets a slow bit, and it spins quick, and it's slow bit, and it spins quick. So I leave that side undone so that it doesn't get any tight parts. To run this, I'm using a DC bench supply. It's set at 2 volts, and this is my foot pedal that I use on the floor. It's basically two pieces of plywood that I couldn't be bothered spending a lot of time cutting and making look nice. It's just a foot pedal. So it's got aluminium tape for a hinge. This is a micro switch from a microwave oven door. It's a normally off switch, so when it's in this situation, it's off, and when you press it, it comes on and spins the drill. So this just folds over, and you rest your foot on it, and the wood presses the micro switch for you. So the pedal is basically ready to use. On the drill, I've got the positive at the bottom, the negative from the bench supply, and this black wire goes to, the brown wire goes to the switch, and you can see the other brown wire coming out, which is connected here to the live. So the positive electricity is running down to the switch, and it's not going anywhere. You press the switch, it goes from the switch to the drill motor and starts turning it. So what I do is that'll go on the floor. Now I've showed you it. There we go. So now we have the wire on the spool ready to go on to the form. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video for a second. I'm going to put my phone in my phone mount on the ceiling, which consists of magnet wire, 2 hooks and magnet wire. So I'm going to put the phone up there and I'll bring you back in a second and show you how I set this up ready to do the wind the secondary coil, and I will film the whole thing. And we're back. Sorry for the wobbliness. It will stop moving in a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes, in a few seconds. So now we are ready for setting up. So what we do now is we get the copper wire from this spool, thread it into the pipe, grab it, pull yourself a nice section out, and thread it back through the hole inside. Excuse me a minute, this is a bit awkward, this P bit. There we go. So then we'll put that in, and I've got a piece of tape here just to put over it inside the tube. You can see inside it's taped in there. So push the rest of the wire in, put our end cap in, try and get this a bit level so that it doesn't wobble around. This is why I don't fasten this side down, it just makes this a lot easier. So now we'll tighten the chuck up. Now this is, you have to be careful that it's straight, so we'll start. What I like to do is hold the wire down like this and to the side, so it's not being fed on. For this first piece I put it on straight. I'll show you, it's easier. So I'll put it on straight, keeping the wire tight. Then I get to my second turn here, my first turn, sorry, and we just get this to there like that. So now I've got 3 turns on. What I'll do is I'll put some tape on that for a second. There we go. And I will put it on time lapse if I can do it. Right, so I'm gonna have to stop here and come back to you. So here we are now. We're nearly at the end of the secondary coil. I've got two holes just here where I want the wire to terminate. So we'll finish it up until that spot. So what I just do is keep the wire to one side at all times, and I'll be able to feel the holes passing under my finger when I get to them. So that's right there, yeah. I think we're up to the end now, so I'll just put tape on it for a minute and have a look for the holes. I think I've gone too far. Yep, I've gone too far. So what I'll do now is I'll oh, I've got a bit of a, there we go. Take the tape off and we'll tighten this up, take a few rolls off. Oh, no. Everything's going wrong and the dog's barking. Got the ice cream van. As you can see, I've made a boo-boo here. It happens. So we'll just take off what we don't want and we'll push that back down, hopefully. I need to take one more layer off. It's all going Pete Tong. Let me get it wound back onto the spool. See, it's not as easy as it looks. Right, let me just take that. Wind this back. So we'll wind this back on. Don't want to get it kinked if I have to wind any more back on. I made a boo-boo. Oh, we've got a kink there now. So that's probably the first ice cream van the dog's heard. She's not very happy about it. It's gone now. This isn't going brilliantly. It's not what I was wanting to do for my YouTube video. But as you can see, it does go wrong. And you've just got to work your way back through. Everything's dropped to pieces. So let's see if we can get this back right again. Stop! we don't need protecting from the ice cream van. Right, so I think we're back. To where we were. Babe, could you just put your hand on this motor for a minute, please? It's come undone. Thank you. So I'm going to stop there, put the tape back on, right next to the holes I'm going to be threading back through. So we'll take it out of the chuck now. Dear, dear. It all went Pete Tom for a moment there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to free the wire off the spool, probably about this much. So I've got a little bit to play with. Now we need to make the spool safe so that the wire doesn't spool off it. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I'll be as quick as I possibly can for this little bit. There we go. So there's the wire out of the way. Right, so to finish this off, we need to be a bit careful. I need to pop this top out, and then we need to hold the wire, peel the tape off, and then we thread it through the hole that I've already made. Where is it? Where's it come back out? Pull it through. I could have done with a couple more turns on there, to be honest. And now we'll take a bit of tape off. And tape it on the inside to stop the wire from pulling back through. So now we have the spool done. It's got a little bit of a, see if I can just roll that out. And there we go. Put it back in the chuck. Oh no, I need to put the bung back in the end. So we'll push this wire in out of the way for now. Put the bung back in. So that's that gone back in. Now we'll put it back in the chuck. There we go. That's it, complete wound. So now I need to fix it in place. I'm going to use a bit of masking tape just to hold this in place. That's the ice cream van again. That's the first ice cream van that we've had here in I don't know how long. Probably since before COVID we haven't had any ice cream vans around Orton that actually come around this end. So hopefully that will stay where it is for a minute. So now I use this, it's Dulux Trade polyurethane varnish, clear gloss. It's not the cheapest of paints, but it's worth it to have your Tesla coil painted nicely. So what I normally do is I disconnect the foot pedal by taking the wire off, and I connect the live from the DC supply straight to the motor so it starts to spin. There we go, that's sat back down again now, so we'll start. And what I usually do is start at one end. You have to have plenty on your brush. You don't want to put this first coat on too thin, and you don't want to put it on too thick either. But you need a lot of varnish to get down the tube with. So we're going along now nicely. What I would say is as well, don't ever sand between coats, especially not the first coat. If you feel that you've got enough varnish on to take out any imperfections by sanding it after several coats, well, I say several, I usually use 4 coats. This polyurethane varnish takes a long time to dry. My brush is coming to pieces, as you can see. There we go, that's better. So when this coat is on and dry, there's a lot of moisture that dries out of the varnish, so the coat will look like it's thick, lustrous and like you've finished, but once it's dried in and soaked into the copper wire and secured the copper wire down, sometimes it leaves areas where it looks like you haven't put any on at all, but you can usually fix that with your second coat. And I would strongly advise that you leave the tube alone until each coat is completely dry. I have ADHD and I like things to happen quickly. I want instant results, but we can't always have instant results. Sometimes we have to be patient, and this is one of those cases. If you put another coat over this, say in 9 hours as opposed to 16 hours, then the varnish will all crinkle, as there's a semi-dry coat underneath that hasn't dried all the way to the tube, so there's still wet varnish under there, and that causes it to crinkle. So never go over your coil too quickly, because you'll regret it. You'll spoil it, and it won't look nice. It will still be functional, but it won't look nice if you paint over it a second time before the coat's dry. So I'll leave this now turning until it's touch dry. But what I normally do is I want it to be nice and slow like this, so it gives the paint, the varnish, time to settle. If you keep it spinning too fast, then the varnish sort of builds up in places instead of smoothly coating the whole thing. So please remember, if you've got ADHD like me and you want it done instantly, it's not going to happen. You've got to leave it the recommended drying time. So I've painted this now, and I'm not sure what time it is. Let me just have a look. It's 1 o'clock now, so I will leave this until 1 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll check it. If I can still leave a fingerprint in it, then I will leave it until it's dry. Unfortunately, the drying time on this polyurethane is quite a long time. Where are we? It is good stuff. It's really good, and it sets really hard when it's dry. But it says here, recoat 16 to 24 hours. I hope you can see that. Please stick to that. Don't reapply any paint. And you will also need white spirit or terps or something like that to put your brush in to stop it from going hard. But what I do is I just shove it in the paint like that. The lid don't seal very well, so I've got different stages of drying in my tin. I know it's not very professional, but this is what happens. The gases from the solvents in the tin, every time I put the lid on, it just forces it back open again. So I have to do that, and then I'll put either cling film or a damp cloth over it until the following day, and then I'll recoat again. So it's Dulux Trade polyurethane varnish. So I'll leave that to dry now for 16 hours. See how it is, but I'll leave it until 1 o'clock tomorrow. Give it plenty of time, because it does need it. So I'll bring it back tomorrow and show you how it's dried. I can see there's a few bits in my paint, but it's a waste of time in my varnish. It's a waste of trying to pick it out, and it's only little tiny bits of dried varnish that have settled on there. It doesn't bother me too much. When it's dry, it's hardly noticeable. So I think I'll leave it there, and I'll bring you back tomorrow, and we'll give it another coat, and then we'll leave it another 16 to 24 hours, and then it's rinse and repeat. I go 3 times because the coats that I put on, as you can see, are reasonably thick, but it does dry back. I will show you that tomorrow. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow on the build. This is the secondary coil that's now made for the OBIT, the oil burner transformer. This is the size of the secondary coil that I'm going to be using. So please come along, like and subscribe, and watch the rest of the build as we go along. We've got the primary to make. I'm not sure what I'm doing about an MMC yet, but we'll figure that out. Yeah, so like and subscribe, and please come back and watch the rest of the build from the oil burner transformer. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you gained something from it. Thank you.